What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the show, man. Recap with Mo, where we getting ready to get into another episode breakdown from the series From, alright? But before we get into this episode breakdown, make sure to like and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss shit that's going down right here, alright? So, the episode that we're going to talk about tonight is episode number 9 of season 2, titled Ball of Magic Fire. Alright, now the synopsis for this episode states that panic spreads through town as the residents face a new chilling threat to their survival. Jim realizes the magnitude of the mistake he made by enlisting Randall in his cause. Alright, so now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into this episode breakdown. Alright, so we start this episode off pretty much where we left off from previously, where we see a guy running up out of his house. He's screaming for help or whatnot, and we now know his name to be Reggie, right? So Reggie is standing outside of his house. He's yelling for help, and then we finally see he brings he's bringing Boyd and Kenny into the crib. So once he brings Boyd and Kenny into the crib, the looks on their faces when they walked in there was crazy, because I was like, what the hell is going on? So when the camera shows the woman, well, what used to be a woman laying on the bed, she's torn up from the rooter to the tutor. I was like, what the hell? Like, like, what's going on? Like, did the monsters get inside? But obviously not. So Reggie conveys to them that all he knows is that she was asleep. He was trying to assist her, trying to wake her up, but nothing woke her up, right? So the next thing you know, she's saying these words. She says, they touch, they break, they steal, no one is free. And I was like, oh hell, these are the same lyrics, the same words that were repeated to Kenny in the previous episode. If you recall, when he got on the telephone, he was in the kitchen with his mom's, and she pretty much said, what's going on? He was like, nothing, but he knew it was something. Now, this hip-hop tune, in honor of hip-hop 50th anniversary, now we got this hip-hop tune going on. They touch, they break, they steal, but no one is free. Anyhow, man, getting back to the episode breakdown. So, I'm just going to be honest. I knew from the very first scene of this episode that it was going to be boss. I'm just going to say that. And as we continue to go throughout this breakdown, you're going to be like, damn, it was good. So, and I'll give you my rating later on. But anyhow, so the next thing we see is Boyd coming out of the crib. Everybody's standing around looking at him like, what the hell is going on in there? We heard the cicadas, we heard the screaming. What's going on? So everybody shows up to the crime scene, right? As they always do. So Boyd comes out and he immediately sees Ethan. So when he comes over to Ethan, he was like, hey, bud, and Ethan is like, what's going on? He's like, you know what, bud? I need you to go back home. I need you to go back to the crib with your mom and everybody so you can be safe. Pretty much it's getting late, right? So once Ethan is gone, he was like, hey, y'all, we got about 30 minutes left to daylight. I need y'all to pretty much listen up. So Julie, pretty much asked, like, what's going on, boy? Like, can you tell me shit that's going on? He was like, look, I don't even know, but something has killed Paula. So the woman that used to be in the house, that used to be in the room, that was singing the lyrics to that hip-hop song inside, her name was Paula, all right? So Julia's like, oh, hold on, wait a minute. Like, what the hell? Like, you can't explain to me what's going on. Is something killing us now in our daggone dreams or whatnot? So, it's not even dark yet. So I was like, yeah, boy, like, you need to explain that a lot. You need to, expound on that a little bit more. But anyhow, she tells him that her dad is down at the RV. So this is, Boyd's first time ever hearing that, of course, because nobody else was supposed to know that. Remember that, Julie? But anyhow, going on from there, we see Donna and Randall. Now, this is where we left off previously, right? So Donna's ass is tied up to the tree, all right? And Randall still has the knife on her, and he was like, oh, yeah, we got a new plan. Jim's like, what the hell are you doing? And not in those words. So Randall's like, no, this is the way that we need to do it, because I saw her, and she had this body, and they were dragging it up out of the clinic. Was it a malfunction body or something like that? And she was like, what the hell are you talking about, Randall? But he was like, no, I'm on to you. I seen what you guys have been doing behind the scenes. You were trying to sneak it out. And she was like, no, it was a corpse that, Boyd has actually killed. So, of course, Jim is like, what the hell? Like, he was able to kill one of the creatures, one of the monsters or whatnot. And she was like, yeah. So, anyhow, what's his name? Randall was like, I know you're not believing this shit right now. Like, you're just believing any story that they bring to you. So while he's in the midst of going back and forth with Jim, Boyd shows up. Now, let me go back a little bit. Now, before Boyd actually shows up, Jim tries multiple times to get, Randall to release Donna. But of course he doesn't do it. He even attempts himself to go over to release Donna from the tree because he was like, look, we ain't got too much time left. Anyhow, Randall grows, some big ones down below, and he pulls out a knife on Jim. So Jim is like, hold on, wait a minute. So while he's doing that, he's threatening Jim. Guess who shows up? Boyd shows up out of no way. Obviously, he didn't ride a bicycle. I guess his ass walked down the street because he was like, hey, we need to ride back real quick if we can hop our asses in the van. So anyhow, Boyd is like, what in the hell is going on? Like, we need to get our asses back to the crib real quick. We only got about 5 minutes left of daylight, right? So Randall was like, oh, so you need these keys, right? And he was like, yeah, I need those keys. Go ahead and hand them over to me, right? And Randall throws those things into the forest. So they're like, what in the hell are you doing? He's like, well, I guess we're going to have to stay here tonight. That's pretty... So obviously, Boyd, Jim, and Donna, there's another new plan, all right, that just happened just now. So get ready for the ride, all right? So anyway, from there, we see Julie standing on the front porch. Everybody's nervous because they are expecting Jim to come back home. They do not know that Jim has told Julie that he was going to stay down at the RV. They don't know that. She hasn't told anybody but Boyd, obviously. So obviously, Ethan feels some type of way. Of course, Tabitha feels some type of way. So Tabitha is like, hey, Julie, come on in the house. And while she's trying to get her to come into the house, Jay shows up with Victor, and they all come in together. So, of course, Jade is like, what in the hell is going on? I've heard all of the ruckus and stuff going on outside, and everybody's being told to get inside of the houses, right? So from there, Ethan, like I stated before, he was like, what's going on? Like, I'm real nervous for Dad right now. Everybody's trying to console him. So anyway, from there, we head over to the sheriff's office, right? So we see Kenny and Sarah. They're having this conversation. Well, I take that back. I only see one person having a conversation and one person trying not to listen, because Kenny is not trying to listen to anything that Sarah has to share with him at this point, because he's still pissed off at you, Sarah, because you killed his dad. Do you not remember that? Obviously she does. She's trying to be apologetic about it, but he's not there yet. So you got to allow people to get to that point in their lives where they are comfortable with hearing you out. He's just not there yet. But at least Sarah is trying, right? So she tells him that things feel different now, and they've been feeling this way ever since she went into the forest, all right? And then she shares with him a statement that Boyd made, previously to her, stating that this place feeds off of their pain. But her question is, what if it does more than that? So, of course, she's sparking Kenny's interest at this point. So he was like, okay, what are you talking about? She says that Nathan was always terrified of cicadas, right? So she was like, what if the people that die in this place, what if their fears become part of the nightmares of this town? So I'm like, damn, okay, Sarah, you dropping knowledge on us, right? So let me so yeah, man, all right. So Sarah is dropping knowledge. She's dropping those gems for us, and that was something that I was thinking about previously. But I'm glad that Sarah finally brought that to the forefront, because that is a great and was a great observation, all right? So from there, we head over to the Colony House. Now, you already know that things go down at the Colony House like none other. So we see Reggie. He's telling everyone what happened, what has transpired with the cicadas and whatnot at his crib back home. But then he stops in the middle of it, and he says, hold on, where in the hell is Donna? He was like, I'm here to see Donna. They was like, well, Donna isn't here. And he was like, okay, well, I'm supposed to see her and, give her a message. But he pretty much tells the message to everyone, stating that boy's message is to not go to sleep. So everybody's like, what the hell? Like, what type of message is that, Reggie? Like, so my girl, the one I feel looks like the little puppet off Mr. Rogers, she was like, so when we supposed to go to sleep? She want to go. You could tell by looking at her she want to go to sleep. I'm just saying. Oh. So anyhow, man, from there, we head back over to the RV now. Now, Randall isn't buying the story that Boyd is selling. It is what it is at this point. And he can't believe that Jim is listening to this bullshit either. Because he was like, hold on, I know you're not believing this right now. Boyd is like, hey, you don't believe me? I mean, what if I throw your ass out there and allow you to see it for yourself? So Randall calms down a little bit. He has to get those handcuffs on him a little bit. But anyhow, going back to the colony house real quick, we see Ellis and Christy. So Ellis is worried about Fatima getting her rest because, as Reggie has already stated, his dad said nobody goes to sleep, or if you're going to go to sleep, somebody has to be looking. But obviously that's not going to help, right? So he tells Christy that, for some reason he feels some type of way about the baby. He's worried that the baby is going to be a baby with fangs and all this shit like this. So I was wondering the same thing, Ellis. But anyhow, she was like, you good. Everything is going to work out just fine and whatnot. So then we head over to Jade and Tabitha. Now, they got all these damn papers spread out all over the table or whatnot. Tabitha and Jade are having this connection about how to get up out of here. So they're just connecting with all of the information that they're trading back and forth. So finally, Tabitha asked him, do you want to hear something weird, right? So he was like, okay. She tells him that she's had dreams about walking up the stairs of a tower, right? And she shows him an image. So she was talking about the image that Victor was saying that his mom was going to this place to save the children. So now it brings us to what she was with her vision. She says she's now thinking about the anti-lotion children, little ashes that come out of the forest, calling her anti-TT. You know what I'm saying? Is her purpose to actually save them? Are they coming for her because she needs to save them or whatnot? So that's her take on this. So I can tell you this now. In this episode, I feel like there were a lot of things that were unanswered previously that are now coming to the forefront. So I'm glad that it is now finally rolling in the direction that a lot of us who love this show, really wanted this show to start doing a lot more, instead of having so many of the slower, episodes filled with fluff or whatnot. So from there, man, we head over to back over to the Lou house, and we see everybody in there. Ethan's looking out the window. Now, Ethan is frustrated. You can tell he's nervous. He feels some type of way about his dad not being there. He's real nervous right now. So Kenny's mom decides to bring in these board games, and they're like, what is that? She was like, look, we're going to play some games. We're going to get our minds off this shit or whatnot, and we're going to have fun, all right? But Ethan is not there yet. Remember what I said earlier, right? You got to allow people to get to that point where they just want to talk. But Ethan has been on fire for the past few episodes. I'm just going to say that. So when he sits down on the couch, Ethan is like, look, I don't want to play no games. I just want to chill here because I'm nervous about my dad and all this shit like that, right? So then Julie is trying to tell him about these stories, and Ethan is like, look, I don't want to hear about all that. That's make-believe. Now, all this time, Ethan, you've been having this make-believe world around you. Now, all of a sudden, now you don't want to talk about make-believe. It's a made-up fictional situation, right? So Victor says that his mother used to say that everything is a story, and we decide how things turn out. Ethan's ass on the other side, in his feelings right now, clapped back and said, well, how about her story? Did it turn... I'm sorry. He said, well, how about her story? Did it turn out the way it was supposed to? They told him not to be rude. Hold on. All right, let me get back, y'all. So now we head back over to the RV, right? So in the RV, Boyd is down there making his silver bullets with the bow or whatnot. So Jim is like, what the hell are you doing? He was like, oh, it's bow I'm putting on here. This should be a defensive weapon against the monsters. We just trying it out, right? So Donna and everybody's like, look, she's looking out the curtain. She was like, look, you need to hurry the hell up. All of a sudden you hear that noise in the background. Yeah, that's it right there. So they know they are coming, right? So now Donna's like, look, you need to hurry up. You need to do something. And Randall's quiet right now. He ain't saying shit. He just sitting over there. So everybody's just patiently waiting, and they see the monsters creeping up. They clean as usual. They went and got their stuff pressed at the dry cleaner. So now they headed over to the RV. Now it seems like all the monsters, for some reason that we all know and love, show up at this one spot. How about the rest of the town? Where are the rest of the monsters? Like, they getting short on monsters? I'm just saying. I just noticed that all the monsters that we've seen previously, it seems like they're getting a little short on monsters. But anyhow, they stop. Instead of walking toward the RV, they just stop like that. And then all of a sudden, the music starts to play, the music box. I was like, oh, hell. Like, where's the music box coming from? Like, where's the music? And nobody sees a music box anywhere. It is playing on the broken-ass radio. I'm like, what the hell? And Randall, now he's a believer. For some damn reason, he's thinking now. So when Randall sees that radio, he was like, hold on. That thing is broken. It's messed up. It's shredded to bits over here. And it's still working? So Randall's like, oh, hell no. So anyway, we head back to the colony house, and we see Mary. And Mary is acting a fool. She tearing up shit at the house. Look, that's the reason why we don't invite nobody to the crib. Don't come in our house disrespecting us, Mary. Now, I know you going through some stuff, but right now you tearing up people's shit. Then you trying to open the door? Look, we've already had issues at the colony house before when people opened up shit. So please do not allow that to happen again, alright? But I guess you would be safe due to all the monsters being down at the RV. So you might have some good... So anyway, we head over to the sheriff's office where we see both Kenny and Sarah still having this conversation. And finally, Kenny has had enough. He was like, look, I don't want to hear shit from you. I don't want to hear nothing from you. I don't really want to look at you. Sarah's like, no, we're going to talk about it. He was like, do not bring my father's name up in your mouth again. Keep my father's name out your mouth. Sarah's like, look, I ain't concerned about that. Nope. I'm going to say what I want to say about it. So he was like, okay. Enough said. If you want to do something about it, you want to unalive yourself. Kenny pretty much told her that Boyd leaves a spare situation in the drawer to her left. If she want to do something, go ahead and get it done. So anyhow, we head back to the colony house, and we see Reggie up here ringing the bell, y'all. Now, what in the world is going on? He's telling people not to fall asleep. As a matter of fact, he reaches over at old boy who's actually reading a book telling him not to fall asleep. I was like, damn, Reggie. He ain't sleep. He reading the book. they got them cicadas got Reggie on 10 right now, on 10 to 100. He don't know what to do. So Ellis and everybody come in. They're like, look, you need to calm down. He starts to throw Ellis all over the place. And see, Ellis, before you get into these confrontations, bro, you might need to bulk up a little bit because you getting tossed like a little feather around this joint. But anyhow, when we get back to the RV, the monsters are still in place. They have not moved an inch. They grinning, they smiling, they decked out from head to toe, but they ain't moving nowhere. So Boyd is like, what in the hell? Where is this music coming from? This music box is playing, is on the radio, and he's nervous as hell trying to cut it off because he already knows that strange shit happens when the music goes away. So he tells that to everyone in the RV, like, no, it's about to go down. I don't know what's about to happen. And by this time, our boy Randall is a believer all of a sudden because Randall is trying to get the hell up out of Dodge. He was like, oh, hell to the nah. So anyhow, Randall done broke the daggone glass, y'all. He done kicked it out with a, no, he didn't kick it out. He took a wrench or something like that, knocked the glass out, got up out, climbed out the back window. Of course, they started running after him after the fact. Oh, let me step back real quick. There was something going down underneath the RV on the side of the RV. So they was like, there's nothing right there. So I think that's really what shook Randall a lot more than anything, not just the music alone, but also the fact that it was something trying to come up through the bottom of the floor. So Randall's like, it shouldn't be shit down there that's knocking, right? So anyway, he hops his ass up out the window. They start coming after him, of course. And of course, Boyd breaks the other side where he tells Donna and Jim to head for the van up at the top, right? So anyway, while Jim is shooting, he's trying to allow them, not Jim, while Boyd is shooting and he's trying to get everybody out, he hears this voice behind him calling his name. So then Boyd turns around and he sees his wife. And I was like, hell no, don't trust the Boyd. So all this time I was like, while you sitting here talking to her, something can be creeping up behind you, bro. Like, get the hell up out of Dodge. So anyhow, when he hears the screech again from one of the monsters, it brings him back into reality. She's telling him to come with her, which she ain't here no more. So you don't want to go where she is, boy. Go ahead and leave her alone and run out your... Go to get up out of there, man. So when he comes out, they start chasing him, of course. So he heads on up to the van where they're calling him to get your ass in the van, right? So then we see our boy Randall, non-believing Randall that has now become a believer, right? He's became a believer and he understands that shit is about to go down. So our boy Randall is now running in the forest free will and there aren't any monsters behind him at this point. But we do hear the cicadas, right? Now, I told you previously I don't care for cicadas at all. I felt this same way in this episode. I did not want to be close to them even on the television screen. I'm telling you this. But anyhow, Randall, of course, falls on the ground. What horror film have we not seen somebody who was trying to get away from something fall down on the ground and they end up getting caught? And that's exactly what happens to Randall. They catch his leg. I guess they hold him down by the legs, the cicadas or whatnot. They get up on his legs, on his jeans or whatnot, hold him down, while the rest of them gang him up, and they climb up there and they go inside of his body. Now, let me stop real quick. No, I'm not going to stop real quick. Let me keep going on, and then I'll give you my thoughts at the end. So we head back to the sheriff's office, and we see Sarah. She's looking at the GUN, and he was like, Kenneth's like, go ahead and put that away. Sarah's like, no, absolutely not. I'm getting ready to use that thing. She places those things inside of there, and she spins it. And Kenneth's like, no, what the hell are you doing? She was like, no, leave me alone. And she pulls it, and nothing happens. So finally, he takes it away from her. So anyhow, we head back over to the colony house, right? So when we get to the colony house, we see Elgin, and he's talking to my girl, and he's trying to show her how to weave. So he's taking up a new hobby since he has nothing else to do, right? So behind him, we see Sister Fatima. Fatima is coming over, and my girl says something about her being pregnant. Elgin hears that, and he was like, are you pregnant? Fatima looks at him like, huh? So we head upstairs, and we see Mary, and we see Christy. Christy is trying to, console her, trying to work her through this whole process of her coming down, right? So she's out of it. She says, I need a drink of water. And Christy says, okay, I'll be right back. And while Christy is gone, Mary starts looking all over the room. She starts to hear these noises. And out of nowhere, right around the windowsill. Now, I thought the window was closed. So how are these jokers getting into the window? I'm not sure. So anyhow, the cicadas are starting to come in. They're crawling in and then they're flying in. And I was like, hell no. So of course she's strapped down to the bed. She can't go nowhere. So she's just squirming. She's squirming. She's trying to get them off of her. Of course, with her being restrained to the bed, she can't get away from it. So the next thing we see is, Christy coming in to aid her. But of course, by this time, she was like, get them off of me, get them off of me. Christy's like, I don't see shit on you. Like, what are you talking about? But by this time, is this something that you cannot see? Is it all mental or whatnot? is this coming from Mr. Smiley? These are all the questions that I have, man. But anyhow, so her eyes change color. Something happens to her eyes, and Boyd is downstairs talking, and people are like, what's going on? Because now Donna, Boyd, and Jim are at the Colony House. They done pulled up, and they want to know what's going on. So Donna and everyone, they're trying to answer these questions. Jim is trying to leave the house because Jim says he needs to get back to his family. Don't you recall that you said you were going to stay the night at the RV? But now all of a sudden you want to go home because you done figured out that your plan was no good, bro? Like, I'm really lost here, Jim. Like, I try to ride with you as much as possible, but what you're doing right now makes no logical sense. But anyhow, they tell him he can't go anywhere. Your ass is locked here till the morning. So you might as well get comfortable. So all of a sudden, Christy calls for Boyd from upstairs. He runs upstairs and he sees Christy laying on the bed. And does she call for him? I'm not sure. Either way, Boyd comes upstairs. He has his, has his gun drawn or whatnot. And she was like, I don't know what's going on. Like her eyes. And if you look at her eyes, it looks like she's been possessed. All right. So Boyd is like, what's going on? She was like, I don't know. He was like, well, I need you to calm down. She was like, there's nothing I can do. He was like, she doesn't need a fiance right now. She needs, a doctor. And I need you to think logically. She was like, there's nothing scientifically that I can do for her at this moment. So Donna comes in and she's just looking like, what the hell? Ellis comes in and he's talking to his dad. And Boyd is like, what? He was like, look, I need to talk to you. So then they go downstairs and we see Elgin in the middle of the circle, all right? So I'm finally glad that they finally had this one-on-one time where they're actually sharing their thoughts. Now, Elgin has finally remembered his dream. Now, in his dream, he says there was this boy all dressed in white, and he kept repeating the same phrase over and over. Now our girl, the bus driver, is in there, is in there as well. So when he starts to talk about this, he says, here they come in 3, unless you stop the melody. My girl sitting on the side, just coming in, taking down the spot for a little while in the nosy department, and sitting there like, hold on, wait a minute, that's an old-ass nursery rhyme right there. She was like, my grandmother used to say that to me all the time. And she was like, they come, no, they come, no, they come, they touch, they break, they steal. And then she says, no one is free unless you stop the melody. So the next thing we see is Jade and Tabitha. They're sitting over in the lower house at the kitchen, inside the kitchen, and Jade is like, do you realize what you're saying right now? And she's trying to piece all of this together. As I stated before, I love them, being connected with one another. Once again, another, couple deciding to talk out their visions, their dreams. This is what's going to aid them to be able to escape the madness of this town. So her question in this picture is, what if saving these kids is how we all go home? Because she brings up the fact about Victor's mother, who was trying to go save these children, right? Now, we don't know for sure if she was talking about the anti-lotion children. We don't know that yet. But what we do know is for her, within her visions, she feels that, these kids that we're talking about are the ones who need to be saved potentially. All right. So while she's in there talking to him about that, she then hears a scream in the other room. So I was like, hell no, what in the world is going on? So now we see Sister Julie laying out there on the floor. She got that same look as Mary had, the same look as our boy Randall had in the forest. And I was like, oh, hell no, what in the world is going on? Are these going to be the anti people or the semi, zombie folks? Like, you've already been possessed by something, or Mr. Smiley himself? Like, when you kill them, do they multiply? Is this what they're going to become? So we see Julie going down. She's saying, get them off of me or whatnot. And Tabitha is like, what's going on? And she can't believe what's going on. She was like, please just calm down, calm down. Julia's like, get them off of me. So we can already tell from what's about to go down that she's about to be possessed as well, or whatever you want to call it. Her eyes are going to roll back. That's what we do know that happens, right? Their eyes change color. All right. So anyway, that's how this episode ended. I'm gonna end it on this note because I feel like I've gone long enough in this video, and I don't want to bore y'all with my little content here. But there were tons of questions that were answered in this episode. Then of course there were a lot of new things that revealed themselves that were not answered. So later on this week, hopefully I'm going to be able to sit down and take out this time to do multiple videos on From this week to get us up to par, man. My thoughts, get into the conversation and see what's going on. But anyhow, man, thank y'all for checking out this video. If you made it out this far to the 30-minute mark, I appreciate y'all for kicking it with me at this crib. And as always, like and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss shit that's going down. So until next time, I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.